My name is Dixon Jones. My Twitter handle is Dixon_Jones. I'm from MajesticSEO.com and I'm pretty easy to find on there. So I used to write and run murder mystery evenings for a living, and I found that when I built a website that people were coming to my site from Ohio and I couldn't get anyone there, so I developed a downloadable system that I learned about SEO and took it all from my murder mystery company, which I still do today, on the side.
That does sound like quite a backdoor way of getting into it. That's
you've got to start. Most people start by learning from a website. Website. My second site was owned by Mohammed Al Fayed. So
oh wow! that's
I like the community. I like the way that people are always trying to find the next thing. They want to collaborate as a general rule. They want to. They're pushing out on a frontier. It's kind of like frontier land, really. It's space of the final frontier. Cyberspace is the final frontier.
There's not very many industries that you'll get the openness.
No, I don't think there are, and I think it's because there's so much to do, so much to learn, so many more frontiers to push, and we haven't got to the stage yet where it's do or die. You've got to go the other parts. Maybe in the States, but not here in the UK. There's not enough women.
Oh, perhaps there could be an advertising campaign for that. Right?
Well, it's funny. I mean, again, I go around the world, and actually in some parts of the world there are an awful lot of women, and the social, I think, is starting to bring in women. But a lot of the old SEO, real techie stuff, seems to just the boys kind of like the techie stuff. It's probably not healthy for us all.
Oh, okay.
The first three things I do is firstly find their analytics and information about what's actually happening on the website. Make sure I've got that information, because if they don't give it to me, I haven't got it. I do find all their link profiles and how they fit in the world. So that means also finding information about their 4 or 5 competitors as well, and then try and see how big the challenge is for them to jump above or compete fairly with their mates.
Okay. And do you find that the clients you do take on are SEO savvy, or is it hold hand?
Well, most of my time now is spent with Majestic SEO, so the technology side of things. So I don't manage a huge number of clients these days.
Right, okay.
I'm feeding on the technology. Where I have been involved with clients, and say Majestic SEO itself is arguably a client, but pretty much we're custodians of the link data, which goes out to analytics SEO, and then you guys then take that and we add a huge amount of value to it.
Exactly.
But how important is it? Well, ranking is important. But I think ever since Google started dropping referral data about the keyword that you arrived on, I think the emphasis has changed. They're trying to make you think about marketing principles rather than just being here for this particular keyword. My way around it is to start thinking about content based around themes. So you're not saying, I want to rank for this particular phrase. It's just that this phrase, this content is about this phrase, and I want people that are looking for this particular phrase to land on this page and read this information. So you bring it back to content, but you don't bring it down to the keyword. And if you broaden your tracking to sit there and say, I'm interested in themes, conversion by theme, rather than conversion by a specific keyword, then you probably jump out of all of the problems of trying to track your keywords on Google, which is a problem.
Yes, it seems to be going that way now, doesn't it? Content is becoming quite a big part of this.
I think it's more than that. Everyone's saying content's important, links are important, this bit's important, and they all are important, but ultimately it's a relationship that your web page or your business has with that web consumer.
Okay.
And we have a tendency in the SEO world to just think about the technical aspects of that relationship. But ultimately, the fact that we come down to conferences and speak to each other within the industry has a huge bearing on whether I'm influential or you're influential in the SEO industry. If you don't turn up, fortune favours those who turn up. And you've still got to do that. And Google doesn't necessarily track that I'm at this conference at this time, but people are going to raise your thought leadership profile as a result of being in the right place at the right time not talking too much pants. Unfortunately, I talk pants. Ruins part of it.
That's
I think there are things that people miss. I'm talking in New York next month about some of the crawler issues that people miss. And one of the things that Majestic knows about is crawling the web. We see 3 billion web pages a day. It's amazing how many SEO problems can be routed back to the crawl. And it may be that there's nothing wrong in your website, for example, but your ISP is banning Googlebot. That's entirely possible. So you've just built everything right, you can't figure out what's happening, and you haven't checked your log files to find out whether Googlebot's getting into your site. So those kind of things are important to check, and seem to be things that aren't sexy. So SEOs kind of want to go and get good content. It sound really good, but they're missing some technical basics.
Okay, so do you think that's a bit more of an importance, as in making sure all the foundations are in place before you go out and do the content? Is that what you're saying?
I think that's still for most people that are just bringing their website into to a professional SEO audit. I think you've got to start with a technical audit at some point here. Even if you're another SEO company taking over, you've got to have a look and understand what the underlying issues are. And there's always that problem at the start of a relationship of there's changes that have got to be made on the website, which usually are not as easy to change as you might want them to be. It's not just a case of putting up some meta tags. And if that's a problem, you should get those fixed before you spend money on the next section.
Okay.
Yes, it starts at 1 o'clock in the morning and ends at 1 o'clock in the morning. The problem with my working day is because Majestic is a worldwide product. It really does get frustrating because the Americans start phoning me up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, and they think they're being nice and doing it early. So, yes, I have a typically long working day.
Yeah, that does sound like a long working day.
Fortune favours those who turn up. Get down to a conference. You can only do so much by going onto blogs and looking at it online. Really, if you're not going to go down and see the players, we're all pretty easy to get on with, and you're going to miss out on some subtleties, and you're going to miss out on building up your sphere of influence. I don't care what you're going to do in life, you've got to go and increasingly make a name for yourself in that sphere.
Okay, so it's more about proactivity, like getting yourself seen.
I didn't want to give the same advice that everyone else is going to give. So
no, fair enough. Obviously, link building, quite a strong.
Oh, of course, you've got to do link building. You've got to always do link building. Everything else can go to pot. Yeah, don't do link building. That's terrible. No. I think the advice I'm giving is good post-penguin advice. If you go out there and try and manipulate Google and just try and get links, or for that matter, just try and write speedy content, or just try and get 1,000 followers on Twitter, these things are not going to be good if there's not real value in the proposition that you're giving to your audience. And everything that Google now is doing is saying there's got to be a value proposition in that message that you're giving through that's hopefully unique. And if it's not unique, then it's the best of the messages that Google can provide. So you've got to think about SEO within the wider marketing mix. And you've also got to ignore the fact that any publicity is good publicity. Actually, in links now, bad publicity is bloody awful. Well, locating the bad links is not so difficult. Majestic tools and SEO, can show you the bad links, and also Google Webmaster Tools, pulling the information from there. If you then analyse those links, you will know which ones. When you look at them, you'll say, how on earth did I let that link get there? Removing them, I'm afraid, is a much more complicated system. Problem. You contact those sites, they've gone south, the owner died 4 years ago. they're in China, or there's a Russian that wants to charge you to get the link removed. All these things are going to start happening to you, and actually we're not seeing a huge amount of success in Google results, and we're certainly not seeing a lot of willingness on Google's part to accept the argument of, oh, I didn't know what was happening, or somebody's done it when I was looking, or it was negative SEO on my site. Google doesn't care. Google has sat there and decided that before we were going to say some links are good and other links don't count. Now they're saying some links are good and some links are bad. So now your rankings go down as well. So you're going to have to get rid of those links. If you can't get rid of those links, you can try to go to the ISP, especially if you're having trouble around a trademarked brand that you own. Then you might get a legal case to go for. Arguably, there's a legal case for any rankings that mention your brand above you. That's another matter. And then if that's not going to work, then if you can make those links not work by taking off the page of content on your web that you're looking to, then that's great. Unfortunately, if they're all linked to the homepage, it's not so easy.
Wow. Okay, so it's quite
there's no easy way out of it, and if there was an easy way out of it, then it'd be great. Or if there is an easy way out, you wait for Google to come out with a disavow page, which I think they will eventually do. But I think they want us to spend many thousands of pounds paying for the work that bad SEOs have done over the years. Clearly more social. The social influences are going to be increasing. I don't think that negates links. I'm glad to say. I think that what an influential person says will involve links. So tracking what that social person, that person is saying socially, and how influential they are in context, I think is going to be a huge measure as we move forward. And that's just another form of relationships. That's another link, as far as I'm concerned. So I think that context is going to change quite a lot. In that you can be influential on SEO, but you probably are not influential on leads. And so if you start suddenly talking about leads, you have no relevance in that space. And I think that's an important thing for us to realise, that we can only be experts at one or two things in life. And we would all do well to become more of an expert on whatever we're doing, rather than trying to be jack of all trades.
It sounds like it's more finding your niche in SEO and just working on where you could best.
Well, I think if you're an organisation, you can build up all that skill set and have all that skill set within the organisation. But I think as an individual, if you want to be the best at something, if you want to be the best pilot in the world, then you better get into an aeroplane. You better not sit there and read a book about it. Show me the way to go home, because I can't drink because I've got to drive.
Oh no! Well, thank you so much, Dixon. You've had some great, insightful comments there.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.